Hey everybody, what's up? We are Two Dudes, One Couch, and we're doing something a little new. We typically just do Let's Plays, but we're doing reviews.
Yeah.
We did one on the channel a long time ago, I did, and we thought a new year we're going to try something new. We're going to try to do, one a month or so for the entire year, and we'll see how it goes. But
And it'll be under a working title. I like Rapidkick reviews.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Maybe you can name it.
Right now, Rapidkick Review sounds good. Two Dudes Reviews, you got a name for us, let us know in the comments. But we are going to talk about the first game that we're going to do of this, and it is the medium on the Xbox Series console.
Ooh.
It's the first big exclusive for just the Series consoles, Series S and Series X. I have a Series S, so that's what we played on. That's the footage that you'll be seeing. But overall, the game has drawn a lot of comparison, as you might have read on the thumb title, to Silent Hill. Yeah. Is this going to be the Silent Hill? Is this what's going to take Silent Hill? And hopefully that's not just going to be clickbait. We're gonna answer that in this review.
We're gonna do our best to answer that.
But let's go straight on in, and let's talk about how it plays and how it kind of controls. Corey, you did most of the work. I did most of the watching. We were recording the Let's Play. We will have that coming out after this review, so
yeah,
keep an eye out for that. But we've played a good chunk of it, probably 5 hours or so, maybe a little more, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
We got a pretty decent feel for it.
Yeah. The game itself, dude, you want to tell how does it feel in your hands?
Well, I have to say it's a fixed camera angle like the old horror games.
Yep.
And there are no tank controls.
Correct.
So sometimes you run into the issue where the camera will switch and you'll run the wrong way. That only happened to me 1 or 2 times. So it's not like a huge complaint.
Yeah, and it does have an effect though, especially when you have enemies chasing you or something like that.
Yeah. And that, I don't want to get super spoilery, but if an enemy does chase you, you could run right into it if you don't know the camera's going to change. So that could happen. But overall, it felt good. Good.
It feels good. Just watching it looks fun. It's a very fun game that I would say people can enjoy just watching somebody play this, which hopefully is helpful for us. But
I enjoyed playing
clicking in the menus in and out or whatever seemed pretty snappy. Any notes there that you have?
Yeah, no, everything went real smooth in the menu.
Yeah.
There's the nice combine feature like you would see in Resident Evil with items where you put things together. I guess in Silent Hill as well.
Yeah.
Putting together items, doing the horror thing. But it felt good. There was no, other than the couple times the camera shifted and I wasn't ready.
Yeah, there was at least one puzzle in the game that did have a bit of wonky controls when you're doing the equator, the globe.
That might have been. We switched controls at that part of the Let's Play, so I am not sure if that might have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Or maybe my brain was broke.
Yeah, well, just observing on the screen, I couldn't figure out just exactly, and that might have just been the complexity of the puzzle.
Yeah.
But overall, of course, it is solvable. But yeah, I would say, would you think that the main hiccup is kind of just the fixed camera or whatever, turning around as you go down a hall or whatever? It's a little disorienting.
Yeah, it was disorienting, but nothing game breaking. Nothing that was a huge issue for me.
Yeah, which is...
I just want to point it out. That way people know.
Yeah, and
it didn't bother me that much.
If we're going to stay on the train of Silent Hill stuff, like most of those games on the PS2 were like that. And I think, aside from the first Silent Hill, those are the ones that people hold the most stock in. They enjoy them the most. And even the best of those, hitting some of those angles, you do the same thing, except the controls are much worse.
Yeah, but you do have tank control as an option in Silent Hill 2 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah, in 4, you don't have tank control options, so you'll see some of that. But the camera transitions are much smoother than they were back in the day. They're pretty nice. Nice transitions.
Nice.
And they had some good angles.
Oh, yeah.
You see them angles.
It's very cinematic. And that'll kind of move us into the next thing. How does it look and sound? My God. It is very cinematic.
Yeah.
The game itself is beautiful. It is detailed, even on the weaker Series S hardware. The game overall looks great. I would say there are some graphical hiccups here and there.
Yeah.
And that might be, stuff that can be patched out, and it also might be just some hardware limitations. You've made a game that runs probably much better on the Series X at 4K, and 30 frames per second is about what this game moves at. Every now and then I noticed a little bit of stuttering. I noticed a little ghosting at one point, but nothing major, nothing that really distracts or what.
A couple times there was an incline where there wasn't an incline when you're running.
Yeah, you kind of popped up a little bit.
And we have to mention that we are playing day one.
Yeah.
So if there are any patches that, I mean, they seem like small things.
Yeah.
That could easily be patched out.
It's all very small. But the game, the cinematic look of it, it's so nice. Every single environment, every single next screen you go into, because moving in the game with the fixed cameras, it gives you screen by screen by screen, of course. So every screen looks amazing, and it looks different than the last, pretty much. Even hallways managed to set themselves aside.
I never got confused about where I was on the map. I knew exactly where I was when I was moving in that direction.
Yeah,
and when I came back to a room, I was like, I've been here. I know this room.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But beyond that, the sound of the game, the sound design.
See, I was gonna go there.
Yeah, the way that it fills out sound is so important with atmosphere. It's not just how it visually looks. Like adding in sound, that took us to the next level in video editing or technology, watching movies, stuff like that. Once sound was introduced, that was how horror masters were able to generate the great escapes that they produced. And this game does that very well.
Yeah, and that that goes to just the look of it, plus the sound of the music. Mm-hmm. And the voice acting.
Yeah.
We can't fail to mention how good the voice acting is.
Yeah, the voice acting is really good.
And if you don't think it is, give it a few minutes.
Yeah.
Why is it so cold in here? Where is that damn notebook?
It's okay, Jack. It's okay.
My sweet little Marianne. What would I ever do without you?
It gets there.
There are times when you're like, wow, I'm sold on that.
I even like, the character models are a little stiff here and there, but I even like that too, because I think it feels like one of the older horror games that it's definitely alluding to. But yeah, the voice acting is credible, and then the music is done by two different composers. One, of course, whenever you go into the secondary realm, the kind of nightmare realm or whatever.
We've been calling it the other side.
Yeah, the other side. It's done by Akira Yamaoka. Yeah, and that is nothing short of, one of our favorite composers in video game history whenever it comes to music. Obviously did a lot of the stuff with Silent Hill.
When you think of video game composers, you could probably note three.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
And he's one of them.
I think we're just idiots and we probably couldn't note that many. But yeah, Akira Yamaoka
you might be able to note
on the top of the list. And what's really awesome is that they have Mary McGlynn came back in, and she of course did the vocals for You're Not Here.
What a good one.
Tender Rain, I think, was on Silent Hill 4. She did work with him on Shadows of the Damned. They are kind of like a dream team in the horror game genre, and man, they produce some bangers, and it's really good after all this time, probably over a decade that they're back together making music for this game. And obviously, putting them two in is going to naturally draw back to that Silent Hill comparison.
Yeah, I don't know any of the song titles because I haven't had a chance to dig in, but there's a moment where you meet a little girl character, and the song that's playing when you first meet her, outstanding.
Yeah,
I freaking love it, dude. Yeah. I want to go home and listen to it right now.
Yeah, the sound.
I was like, ooh, that's good.
We haven't really hit many songs with lyrics or anything like that, but I know that they're in there because I have briefly flipped through the soundtrack before we played. And man, there are some bangers in there, dude. It's good.
I might just listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah, the sound design of this game is definitely the biggest shining point, I think, of it. But aside from that, is it fun really? And while I didn't play, I watched and I enjoyed watching this game. But you were playing it, dude. Did you find it fun?
Yes. Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
There are things I have to note, because I feel like I wouldn't be doing myself or anyone any service if I didn't say what I didn't like about it.
Sure.
One of the things is that you have a thought in your head. You're like, I know how to solve this puzzle.
Sure.
And then you're going, you go and you're walking in the right direction. You're like, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go solve this. I already figured it out.
Yeah.
So you start going that way, and then the character in the game tells you, oh, I should do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know that already.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
It kind of rips the glory of you figuring it out away.
So you're like, I don't feel smart. I feel like you were trying to solve it for me, and that you
know
lose
what's
the
crazy
satisfaction.
Is the game walks you through things so well, and it has like the spirit fireflies and stuff that you can follow the traces and stuff like that. It doesn't really have to tell you. I don't know. You're on the right track. It does seem kind of weird. It kind of defeats the point of you actually figuring it out.
Yeah, we had a huge aha, we know what to do, and then the game's like, oh, I should do this.
Yeah,
I was like, well, I know that. I already figured that out. That hurts my feelings.
But I mean, that's pretty minor, and then that does go in with solving puzzles, and obviously these sort of like horror games, there's a lot of puzzle solving involved in them. Silent Hill, Resident Evil, of course, use tons of puzzle solving. Does this game set itself apart? Yes, it does.
Yes.
The puzzles are not only fun to figure out, because that is something that I can do as watching in the Let's Play, not playing. I can still help try and solve the puzzles and find different pieces, and that was just as fun to do as if I had the controller in my hand. And the puzzles look unique. It's not the same old that you find in horror games all the time. They've been doing since 2000.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that I need to mention that's fun is there's tension. There's a lot of tension at specific moments. I don't know how much I can say without being in spoiler territory.
I think you can say, this game is going to involve a stalking monster in it.
Yeah.
It's called the Maw.
Yeah.
And the design for it is sweet. The voice work for that is also sweet. But yeah, the moments whenever it is in the game with you and you're having to hide from it.
Yeah. I didn't expect stealth sections. I can't think of another, like when you're thinking of Resident Evil and Silent Hill, you don't really think of stealth too much.
Yeah.
So
there's
when
a little bit in Resident Evil 7, a little bit of the remake of 2, of course.
Yeah, but there was like, the type of stealth here was different. It was like, ooh, you got to sneak for real. It had that Death Stranding hold your breath thing going on.
Yeah, and there's no running away if you get caught.
Yeah. Now, once you're caught, it's game over. But that is another good thing, is the generous checkpoints.
Yeah.
So the game will hook you up with some nice checkpoints.
I do believe that if you have spirit energy with you and you get caught, you can blast spirit energy on them, like you do the first time you run into them. But a lot of times you just don't have the spirit energy. So when you're caught, you're done.
Yeah, you just better get trucking.
Yeah. But man, puzzles are fun. The stealth is fun. The world is fun. The game overall, I think, is a fun game.
And we got to mention the story as well.
Yeah.
It's keeping me hooked.
Yeah.
I want to know what happens.
Yeah.
I'm invested. I want to keep going.
For sure, 100% a slow burn.
Yeah, give it a minute. I was really critical initially.
Mm-hmm.
The first hour and a half in, I was like, what is this?
The first hour or so, it's really just establishing your main character. And then after that, once you get to the resort that the main portion of the game comes in, it really comes to life then. And the story and finding all the different side characters, and your little sidekick, she's a little ghost girl. She's cute as heck too.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
So far, I mean,
the story is very engrossing. Once you start finding all these memories and stuff lying around, you piece them together. It's awesome, the stuff that they managed to put in there, and the way that it conveys the feeling of like despair and stuff. So watching these characters tank from, there are a couple happy memories, but then pretty much after that it's all downhill.
Yeah, and the downhill memories are good.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of sensitive content. Or
I would say there's
but
probably a trigger warning because there are children involved, and though we haven't finished the game yet,
there are heavy implications.
Yeah, at the very least, even if that isn't the case, there is no way to get around the implication.
Yeah.
So, trigger warning there. If you have sensitive things that deal with your childhood or know somebody, they might not find this as easy to go through as maybe you would. But we got through it, and it's very heavy. But dang, man, it feels rewarding. Like once you get to another cutscene, once you get to another memory, you feel rewarded because it gives you just enough to open the story up a little more. That always you feel good about it, but not necessarily the story, the feelings inside of you, but you feel good that you get to that point and you're ready to get to the next to find out. It's an engrossing story.
Yeah, and there's that thing too where you're like, oh, I think I know what's going on. I got a hunch, and then the game will outright tell you, and that kind of feels cheap. It cheapens what your thoughts are about it. So sometimes it lays stuff out for you that you're like, I wish I could have just let that marinate a little bit in my head, but not too big a deal. I'd have to point it out. I have to.
Yeah.
It's my job now, because we're doing reviews now on the channel. It's my job now.
It's my job.
I'm gonna nitpick everything. No.
But do you have any further thoughts beyond that, dude?
Another one of the fun factor things for me is in the menu, you can spin the items like crazy, really fast. I love that.
The items are extremely detailed in this game too.
Yeah, I was spinning.
This is a small studio as well.
I was spinning those items like crazy. So if you like doing that, like I do, you're in for a treat.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd be remiss to mention that spinning the items, you can also get story elements through that. It teaches you that, but it's cool. It like connects
it's a neat mechanic.
Yeah, it connects the characters to the world, the ones that were in this place. You kind of get an idea of what they were about, where they were, who they are.
Rolls off that idea, kind of like, haunted objects or something like that, like Annabelle or some, pieces that came off the Titanic that have some sort of spirit energy attached to them. Is it spiritual mumbo jumbo? Yeah, probably, but it's fun to think about, and they really managed to hook it in with this game.
Yeah, and you'll find notes laying around, and you'll have heard from these characters before. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. But moving on to answer the question, is it a new Silent Hill? No, not really.
No, I don't think so.
It's different than Silent Hill. I totally 100%. I get the allusion to it. They even make a reference to it in the game.
Yeah.
There's a pretty fun reference. I thought about putting it on screen, but I'll probably leave it off so you can find it for yourself, see if you can, because it evaded us right away, and we had a friend point it out to us.
Yeah.
But the game definitely is inspired. It draws from Silent Hill.
And I don't know if this is going to be consistent, but the achievements, one of them had a reference to something else too.
Oh, okay.
So you can find that yourselves if you.
Yeah.
I don't know if every achievement's like that, but one specifically stood out to me as a Easter egg for something else.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, this game is not going to have a bunch of, enemies that you have to mow down. It's not as action oriented as Silent Hill. But it does its job well of separating itself from Silent Hill, but also, paying homage to it.
Yeah.
It's not a what is the term that people use? It's not a remake of itself, or it's not trying to go too heavy into the I can't think of the analogy right off the top of my head.
Yeah, to me it doesn't seem
like... It's
like
not a parody of something else.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be a parody of what, like I want to be Silent Hill and becoming a parody of that.
Yeah, to me it doesn't seem like it wants to be Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So I think that's
its own
great.
thing. And hopefully, like we haven't got to the ending yet, but hopefully it opens up for more, because I can't wait to beat this game. We probably will in the next session, and dang it, it's fun. I'm excited to see what happens there.
Yeah, I want to see how it all pans out, how it unfolds.
Yeah, how it unfurls.
Yeah. So, but that's what we did 5.5 hours.
Yeah,
and that's what we think. It seems great.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to get this review out as quickly as I possibly can. But if y'all enjoy this, be sure to let us know in the comments below. Corey, do you want to give a rating for this game?
I will rate this game on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd give it it's about midnight, and you hear a knocking at your door. When you're watching a sitcom, you hear a knock at the door. You check the door, there's no one there. So you're like, okay, not a big deal. Your girlfriend's freaked out though. Then you hear a knock on the window. You say, girlfriend, go to the bathroom, call the cops. You look out the window and there's no one there. Cops are on their way. Then you check the window again, your friends are standing out there because they thought it was a funny joke.
Out of 10.